Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, so this is a poem. It's called The Convergence of the Twain, okay, by Thomas Hardy. It's, or it has a subtitle, Lines on the Loss of the Titanic, okay. So, the Titanic, sunk in the year 1912, as you know, and it was thought to be the unsinkable ship, right? And the name itself was a bit of arrogant in a way, Titanic, the unsinkable ship, and nobody thought that what the tragedy that would follow. The sinking in its first maiden voyage. In other words, it was the first time it was going across the Atlantic, and of course it hit an iceberg and sunk at the bottom of the ocean. And this had struck me actually, because human beings tend to get like this, vainglorious, right, and a little bit of pride in it, and that's what this poem tries to get at. That is the convergence of the twain. The twain mean the two. In this case, the coming together of the two. That's what the title means. Coming together of this Titanic ship and this iceberg. So here's mankind's that's most awesomest creation at the time, and his nature, which is the iceberg, and they're going to come together. And the question is, who wins? So it's a reminder for humanity to check its pride and vanity. So that's what the poem's general theme is at. So Titanic, when it was built, it was the most impressive ship of its kind, and as I said, and it was very opulent. How big was it? How large it was? I don't know. It's one of the biggest one, huh?
How long was the whole entire journey?
Good question. It didn't last very long. It didn't. I would have to look into that. Maybe I'll do that, inshallah. But nevertheless, so, and it was very rich. It was for the rich people, and it was an opulent display of wealth here. So, in fact, they didn't have any cheap places. They took out it was really for the rich people, so to speak. Okay. And of course, it hit an iceberg, and the iceberg, as you know, are small on top, and majority of icebergs are below water, and hit it and sunk in the middle of the ocean. So apparently, some 2,200 people died in the event. So here's the poem. The convergence of the twain. In a solitude of the sea. In a solitude of the sea. It means the loneliness of the sea. Okay. Notice it doesn't start with the Titanic. It starts with the other end of the story. Somebody could start it with the building of the massive ship. Says no, that's like, you're not important, right? It's like, right. It starts with the sea. Right? So by just talking first about the sea and not the Titanic, so it gives an emphasis to the sea. Page 388. And now it says, in the solitude of the sea. Now it says, in the loneliness of the sea. In the loneliness of the sea. Deep from human vanity. Okay? So it already tells us the theme of this. Okay? In the loneliness of the sea. What vanity are you going to find? Well, there's no pride and vanity in the bottom of the ocean, right? So it's away from all this human vanity, okay? So in the solitude of the sea, deep from human vanity, and the pride of life that planned her, stilly couches she. So within the solitude of the sea, deep from human vanity, deep. Now this is a pun, Deep from human vanity, far away from human vanity. Who's also deep? The ship, she. So this is she here refers to Titanic. Couches means holding. Okay, it's holding. The sea is holding this Titanic. Okay, so deep, and the pride of life. Now you notice that the pride is capitalized. Okay, so all of this pride that you capitalize, humanity capitalizes, right, is where? The bottom of a sea, right? So the pride, who capitalizes pride? Humans do. Pride, right? So look at what happened to your pride. It's at the bottom of the sea. Now, the several things to notice about the structure of the poem, okay? And two small lines, and then there's a long line, okay? Now look at this, deep pride, okay? So even in the anatomy of the poem, there is like there's messages there, okay? So in a solitude of the sea, deep from human vanity, and the pride of life that planned her, still couches holding the sea, the she, meaning the ship. So, and this is perfect rhymes. All of these rhymes, 3 lines for a stanza. Steel chambers are these are the chambers that to run the Titanic, you put coal in it, right? So burn them, and then that's what drives the engine. So these are the steel chambers. Lit the pyres of her salamandrine fires. Okay, so these chambers were humongous chambers. They used to put all this coal to burn this gigantic ship. Okay, they were late. They were coming in late. Yeah. Salamandrine fire, the salamanders are thought to be a fire animal type of thing, like a dragon, right? So something, salamandrine fire is an adjective meaning the intense fires, okay? These intense fires are a little too late. But what are you going to do? Fire in the bottom of the ocean? No. Cold currents thread here is threads to like go through, right? They used to cold current up over there. The cold currents they used to thread through. They used to break through, right? Right. They used to pass through these cold currents and turn to rhythmic tidal lyres. The lyres is like like a lute, like a guitar type instrument of ancient times. Like, so they used to cut these tides in rhythms, like music rhythms, tides to the cold currents, right? These steel chambers, but now these steel chambers. Too late for them. They came a little too late at the bottom of the ocean. Over the mirrors, now look at this. Over the mirrors meant to glass the opulent. Now still the ship at the bottom of the ocean. And the mirrors, right? It's showing the big. Over these mirrors, the beautiful mirrors. Over the mirrors that meant to glass the opulent. That people used to go in there. Mirrors are a very interesting thing. You go and people look in the mirror, like you check it. So there were these mirrors that used to glass the opulent. Rich people used to look at themselves. The sea worm crawls. Right? Look at these mirrors. What's going on at the mirrors? On the top, the bottom of the ocean, these fancy mirrors that used to be so look into you feel so good about yourself. Sea worms are crawling on it. Right? And grotesque, slimed, dumb, indifferent. Right? Now these are adjectives describing the worms. Grotesque, slimed, dumb, indifferent. They don't care that this is a fancy schmancy ship for the rich people. Right? Now, so here's an interesting thing. Are those adjectives for the sea worms? Or the adjectives for the opulent? Yeah? Look, to glass the opulent, grotesque slime. Yes? Look at the structure of the poem. And then right there, to glass the opulent. Look how these are right next to each other. The sea worm crawls. Your opulence, your wealth, you're rich for the sea worms. What do they care? It tells you what is important to you. Is all this rich stuff that you built, is that all important? Look, worms crawling on it. They don't care. Or is it that you don't care? Jewels enjoy design. It's talking about the jewelry, all the jewelry, lavish jewelry. Jewels enjoy design to ravish the sensuous mind. What does all this jewelry do? Why do people wear jewelry? Right? They attract each other, right? You know, make them attract to each other, right? Jewels enjoy design. There's so much joy in all this jewelry design to ravish the sensuous mind. Now look at this. To ravish it, not to please it, but to ravish it. Ravish is like, you know, like overload, right? So all this wealth was designed to like overload the senses, right? Now what's happening to them? Jewels enjoy design to ravish the sensuous mind, lie lightless. All their sparkles bleared, smeared, and black and blind. Right? So, see, jewelry is sparkling, right? But only sparkles where there's light. There's no light at the bottom of the ocean. There's nobody to look at your fancy jewelry. It doesn't shine, it doesn't sparkle, it's bleared. It's black and it's blind. Yeah? Dim-mooned eye fishes. No, down in the bottom, there's very little light or no light. There's eyes. You know, fishes who have eyes you can see, they have to be big eyes. Right? Like moon-shaped eyes, so they can capture the little light so they can see. It's a big-eye fish. Dim moon-eyed fishes nearby.
Hey, this sounds familiar.
Yeah. Gaze at the gilded gear. They look at this. The fishes going around and looking at this gilded gear. And they query, they ask. Query is the question, right? Yes. Dim moon eyes fishes near, gaze at the gilded gear, and query. They're asking. What are they asking? What does this vaingloriousness down here? Vainglorious vanity. What is all this vanity down here? What is it doing here? It's purposeless. I can't eat it, right? I can't do anything with it. It's just useless. Well, and there's a shift in the poem. Well, while was fashioning this creature of cleaving wing. Okay, so now it's about going to the ship. What was happening? While people were fashioning, while they were making this creature what? Okay, the ship, the looker says creature. Cleaving wing means two parts. So the ship was apparently made in two parts. And how it was made. While was fashioning this creature of cleaving wing, the imminent will. While mankind was making this creature, this calls it creature, look at that, creature. While they were doing this, the imminent will, it's kind of like, you know, the force. Or, that's what it's saying, it's the force. Or God, whatever. The imminent will that stirs and urges everything. The force that binds and surrounds us, like that. The imminent will that stirs and urges everything prepared a sinister mate for her. So while they're building all this the ship, the imminent will, or the nature, whatever, at the same time was preparing a sinister mate. It's an evil, sinister, cutting mate. Mate is what? Companion, right? Companion for her, for the ship. Okay, you build a ship, I'll build this iceberg. So gaily great for her. So gaily great for her. This is like description to the ship. Oh, the ship, the so wonderful ship. It's being sarcastic. Prepared a sinister mate for her. So gaily great, so fancy. Right? And then what did he prepare? A shape of ice. A shape of ice. Look, it's capitalized. Okay? You know what was also capitalized? Pride. Yes? So pride against the forces of nature, or against nature, ice. Yeah? For the time far and dissociate. And they were doing it, they're both building it. This is in the past, right? For the future. The ship was for the future, and the iceberg was for the future. They're both building, right? For a time, far and dissociate away, not connected to each other. Nobody will think these two things will come together, right? And as the smart ship grew, as this pretty ship grew, in stature, grace, and hue and color, in shadowy, silent distance, grew the iceberg too. Alien they seemed to be, alien and strangers they seemed to be. No mortal eye could see the intimate welding of their later history. Nobody would have ever guessed it's this beautiful, gigantic, remarkable piece of work, and that remote iceberg would ever come together, that their fates were destined to be together, welded together. Now look at the term, welding together, right? A very shipbuilding terminology. That they would hear the shipbuild let's weld you together with this new part I found on the ocean. Yeah? Welded in their history, they come together. Now their history is forever welded together, right? This is the last one. Or they couldn't see, or they couldn't even see any sign, or sign that they were bent by past coincidence, or nobody could see any signs that their paths were related on being a non-twin halves of one August event, memorable event. Nobody could see any signs that their paths were together, or there were two halves of a great event. Twin halves of it. August means like memorable event. Okay? And then one day, until the spinner of the years, until this, right? Whoever controls everything. Whoever the spinner of the years said, now. And each one hears, and consummation comes. They come together. And jars the two hemispheres. Jars coming together of the two hemispheres. Nobody could have predicted that. And until, boom, somebody said. So the idea is this, you do all this fancy stuff, but really, one, is it necessary? Okay? Worms are going to swallow it. Fishes are going to look at, why are you doing this? The fishes comment, why are you doing this? Like saying, really, is this really necessary? Why are you doing all this? Right? And don't be proud. You don't have to do all that. Okay? Because Allah can check you. Yeah? Allah can check you. Don't be so proud. It's iceberg. It's just like water molecules. Yeah, just water like that. Right? Okay, that's the summary of the meaning of the poem. Until next time, as-salatu wa-salam ala rasulillah.